These are the dominant 7 with a raised 11th chords, species of chords, on 1, 3, 5, 6 on the tonic A. And we'll begin by looking at the different aspects of the chord in terms of root positions for them, where they fall on the guitar. Now we'll have to look at E minor major 7 sounds, G major 7 with a raised 5th sound, and of course the E flat 7 with a raised 9th type of a sound. And going back, we could start actually on the 3rd, which is C sharp. So chords like this sort of a voicing. This is a C sharp, G, and the E flat, the sharp 11, and the B, going back to an A, giving that sound. Exchange the voices, so C sharp and B swap. So we have that sort of a sound as well, so just swapping the voices. Okay. And if we progress up, we can bring this D sharp to an E, and we can also take the C sharp to a D sharp. So we're also in the E minor major 7 sound. We remember that E minor 7 was this, major 7th. So that will give us the sound. Additionally, pushing forward, we can bring the B to C sharp, and then we can swap the C sharp and the D sharp here. So we have C sharp, G, E, and D sharp. So what we have is a de facto sharp 9 right here if we bring the E to F sharp. So this is an E flat 7 sharp 9. Swap the outer voices and we can see it. E flat, G, E with a flat 9 and a C sharp, and we bring the F sharp back. Now from here we can bring the top voice, which is C sharp, down to B. And then we're back to an E minor major 7th type sound. Okay, now we can take that sound and move the E to F sharp, which is a common sound, sharp 5 on an E flat 7 with a sharp 9. Now if we take another step, take the C sharp up to E. So now we have a sharp 9 and a flat 9 on an E flat, which again comes from that sound. Now we voice exchange. There's our E minor major 9 type sound. And it's an E, G, F sharp, and D sharp. Additionally, we can move forward. We have a straight up and down E minor major 7, E, B, G, and D sharp. So here, if we have this sort of a sound, we can voice exchange as well. So we have D sharp, B, a G, and an E. Move the E up to F sharp. And if we move the voices and exchange them, the D sharp can come up to an E. So we have all of those E minor major 7 sounds. All of a sudden we can also F sharp, B, G, and D sharp. D sharp moves to C sharp. Voice exchange. We have a G major 7 with a raised 5th. This is a G, B, F sharp, and a D sharp. We can move the middle voice to an A to make it sound more like a straight A dominant sound. Also here, this is E, A, G, and D sharp. So it's the same as the major 7 voicing, which was this, only lowering for the dominant. So you get the dominant with a sharp 11 sound. Also, C sharp, A, G, and D sharp is fine. Going from F sharp to D sharp is a good move. And then voice exchange, outer voices is good. So we have D sharp, A, G, and C sharp, and that can move back to a B. So that will give a good amount of voicings in that basic area, that first area. Now, moving up to the G major 7 with the sharp 11. So we have G, C sharp, B, and F sharp. The top voice can move to E, it can move to E flat. Now, continuing on, I'll reposition the guitar for it to be easier to see. Now, the C sharp will move to D sharp. And remember, in this aspect, we can move the top voice to E too. So we have an E minor major 7 here. This is a G, a D sharp, a B, and an E. If we move the root, the E, to F sharp, we have a G major 7 sharp 5. If we move the third of that chord, we have a sharp 9 chord on E flat 7. So we have an E flat 7 sharp 9. G, E flat, D flat, and F sharp. So remembering that the formula for that, we'll take it back down here, is E minor major 7, raise the root, becomes G major 7 sharp 5, raise the third of that chord, and you have the dominant 7 on E flat sharp 9, the tritone relationship. I'll take the F sharp up to A, and clearly that's an A dominant type chord. G, D sharp, C sharp, and A. Voice exchange, G's and A's, A, D sharp, C sharp, and G. So we have that. Now we can raise it up to B. So now we have a G, D sharp, C sharp, and B. So that fulfills the criteria too. And of course, going back, this voicing has potential too. Could be a multitude of uses, not just major. So A, E, D sharp, and B moves up to C sharp. The C sharp minor 9 as well. That's where this G comes in. So C sharp, E, D sharp, and B moving to an A. So C sharp, E, D sharp, and A. And of course, adding the 7th, the G back, back where we started at the beginning of all of this. Additionally, C sharp, G, F sharp, and E, which is a minor 7 flat 5 on C, only with an 11th. Voice exchange, C sharps and E's. We have our E minor major 6 9, E, G, F sharp, and C sharp, and that top voice can move down to B as well. And this is where these species of chords comes in, because if we lower the root to E flat, we're back at the sharp 5, sharp 9, and we move the F sharp, and of course we now have the flat 9 and sharp 5 on E flat, which relates to back to the A7 sound, the sharp 11 type sound. So that gives you a broad overview. Of course, minor 9 sounds work as well. E, B, F sharp, and G, voice exchange. Again, to the D sharp, we already covered those, but in context, that works very well. And of course, going back to this sort of a chord, A, C sharp, B, and G, which of course is a regular dominant 7, but if you move the C sharp to D sharp, there's the sharp 11 sound. A, D sharp, B, and G. And of course we saw that here. So both of those can be planed, those voicings can be exchanged and planed out like that. So that gives you a good overall introduction to the dominant 7, sharp 11 family of chords on 1, 3, 5, 6 on the root A.